Good evening and welcome to the 12th round of our 1978 USAC Championship. Coming to you tonight from the Wisconsin State Fair Park. And it is promising to be, just like last time we visited this place, a grand old race. 200 miles, so it'll be a bit of a quick blast down the race length, but should be a good bit of fun to watch. Track, as mentioned, is the Wisconsin State Fair Park. It's a 1 mile oval, so easily countable to 200 laps for our drivers to be running this time out. And nice to see some of our usual viewers online as well. Barry Lynn, Richard Coxon, Luciano Roja. Best of luck to Luciano, who I believe will be running this evening. And I hope everyone else enjoys the show. Looking at the points for a 200-mile event, the winner, just like last time, will bring home 400 points. Second, 320. Third, 280. Fourth, 240. Fifth, 200. Sixth, 160. Seventh, 120. And then drops by 20 points from 120 to 20 points for 12th. Then 13th to 16th will score 10 points. 17th to 20th, 8 points. 21st to 24th, 6 points. And 25th to 28th, 4 points. I do not believe we have more than 28 drivers this evening, so 4 points is the least anyone starting this race will be scoring. And talking about the points, the championship after last time out is a bit of a runaway at the moment now, with David Yates leading the championship by nearly 600 points. Make that, let's see, nearly 800 points, I mean, on 3,208 points. Jason White, who I believe just joined us in the booth, lies second in the championship on 2,496 points. Brian Yannick is third, our ever consistent complete brain fade on the name of chassis and team name there. Eagle driver.
For Janik?
Yes.
He's moved over to the Warner Hodgdon team. He's driving the AMC now.
Oh.
But prior to that, he was driving the Finley Eagle.
Oh, I'd completely glossed over that looking over the entry. So Brian now running the beautiful sounding AMC powered Eagle. That should be a very decent combination of chassis, engine and driver, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Hackman lies fourth in the championship, only some 2 points behind Brian Yannick. And so Slapinski rounds out the top 5 in the championship on 1,932 points. Good evening, Jason. How are you doing, by the way?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. A little bit of a quick intro overall, but otherwise I'm not doing too bad.
Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult race going forward, because it's 200 laps around here, and getting the tires to behave is going to be a real challenge. But it's the game is on, because you got the championship leaders, David and myself in the front row. So
wow, that sounds very promising indeed. And as you say, your keys to the race, one of those being balance your right side tire temperatures as best you can, which I'd assume would be the rear right tire, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it comes down to, you just have to keep those tires balanced properly. The heat from front to rear on the right hand side. If it gets too hot on the right front, the car will start to push. And then you go to put more input in, and then it just gets hotter and hotter. Oh, here's our resident IndyCar expert now.
Good evening, Alberto. Nice to have you around.
I wish I would be that, but thank you for the welcome.
Well, you knew all about Philippe de L'Espinay, and I didn't know anything about him, so there you go.
Who?
Well, that's true.
Yeah, so... Thank you very
Yes.
much, Alberto, for doing the color for this race. I appreciate it.
Well, my pleasure. I think it's going to be a very, very fun race. I'm looking forward to watching all the action on the track.
It's certainly going to be a very interesting race, and just to finish off the keys to the race before Jason has to jump into his car. As you also mentioned, it's 200 grueling laps around this nearly flat oval. Better be patient and drive your own race.
Absolutely. Yeah, patience will be rewarded at the end of this day, I guarantee you.
And as always on a 1 mile oval, this has proven very costly at a few different points. Pitting on the green is something you want to avoid, obviously, if possible. You can't always have the luck.
Yeah, if possible.
Yeah, with the 20-something odd seconds lap, it's obvious that if you're pitting on the green, you're easily a lap down before you know it.
Maybe 2.
Yeah, so it's very important that you make good use of the yellows, of any possible yellows that might arise. And I think Jason already has covered it, but tire temperature is going to be paramount here. The cars are so much quicker than the track really allows that you cannot really be pushing it all the time. You need patience, you need to be tolerant with the tires, you need to have a balance, and you need to be lucky, which is not really a small amount of what you need to win here.
Also, overtaking on this track happens everywhere.
Yeah.
It's all a case of if someone makes a mistake, you can slip up the inside.
That's true. Although I've seen some people overtake on the outside too.
Yeah, it's overtaking on short tracks. And I mean, short track racing is so different to super speedways, because in super speedways everything is about the draft and the ability to keep the momentum and the passing and that. But at short tracks, traction is paramount. How you are coming out of the corner is how you are able to go into the next corner. So for overtaking here, anything that you see in the track in terms of action, any passing that you see, actually happened nearly 2 corners before.
Yeah,
Nearly 1 corner before.
For my setup, actually, I'm going to be driving in 3rd gear most of the way to get the best traction coming out of the corner. It's going to mean that I can't go as high in the boost as I would like, but quite frankly, I don't think that's as critical on a track like this.
No, what you want to avoid is the lag coming out of the turn. Yeah, you need to be on the turbo, have it spooling, and be able to control it with the throttle properly, so as to be able to maximize what it's actually catapulting you out of the corner. And as I said, that's where the passing actually happens, because if you gain the advantage on the traction when coming out of the corner, you have the advantage when going into the next corner. So people may think, oh, look, there's a daredevil move that happened on the brakes. Someone braked too very hot into the corner and actually made the passing. No, that's not right. If you see something like that, 90% of the times, what happened was that the guy was able to out-accelerate, to out-drag the other one from the previous corner.
Quite so. And watching the front straight right now, I just got reminded of another big danger on this track. Pit entry.
Oh, yes.
Shall we just say they didn't really think about that one when they built the track.
Well, the cars were going a lot slower when they built it.
That's true.
Maybe so, but it's still one of those... you really don't want to go in there too hot.
Yeah. Oh, the trivia question, Jonathan, is Milwaukee related as well.
Yeah, I saw that one, and I got it wrong. But since we're waiting for another 4.5 minutes, let's actually bring it up, so everyone has something to ponder during this short sprint race. So the trivia question for everyone to think about this evening is, in 1992, with Milwaukee in danger of losing its kart IndyCar race, which team owner was given a long-term contract to organize all racing activity at the facility? Was it A, Roger Penske? Was it B, Pat Patrick? Or was it C, Carl Haas? And as I mentioned, I got that wrong. Any immediate thought for you, Alberto, on this one?
Oof.
Or do you want to ponder it for a while?
Yeah, I think it was either Haas or Patrick. I'm not sure about it.
And obviously, Jason doesn't get to answer because of
I don't get
the
the
trivia
answer,
question.
No, we want to keep the intrigue.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to get myself situated. I'm glad that it'll be Jake's the pace car driver's barking at going too fast for the start, but at least I can just hang back and on the outside. But anyway, hopefully it's going to be a survival game, that's for sure.
Good luck there.
But best of luck. This is going to be a good bit of fun.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Cheers. Ooh, as someone just has a bit of a spin onto the front straight, looked like one of the Penske's possibly. Yeah, notice that up in the top 10 we've got a couple of newcomers to the series, which is nice to see that they're getting some pretty good speed out of the cars. Francisco Amaral in the one of the works McLarens, right up there in third place at the moment. I believe no going on, so let's actually jump on board with him and take a lap around this track. So very short front straight into turn 1, a bit of understeer for Francisco.
That's actually, yes, that's the sugary part. It's the one from Wally Dallenbach, sorry for the lapsus. That's the Wally Dallenbach car. They're sleeping in my mind. And yeah, it's not exactly a factory car, but yes, it was a factory backed up car. It was a very important team back then in 1978, and it's for sure one of the cars with the Cosworth engines. Although the Cosworth engines, even if they have obviously a power advantage everywhere, they are obviously not so much at an advantage here, where the paramount thing is how you are able to come out of the corners with traction. And the Offenhausers still have a good opportunity here because they have very good mid-range torque.
Certainly.
So it's going to be an interesting race.
For sure, and I notice, I believe it's your old car currently at the top in this warm-up session with Luciano Roja behind the wheel.
Yeah, so it seems. Making a very good drive with it.
Indeed, he'll be very happy with that, and if that's any proof, as he has a bit of a moment coming off turn 2, if that's any proof on how well he could do tonight, I'm looking forward to seeing his progress.
Yeah, he's obviously testing the limits now with the car heavy on fuel.
Indeed, and we also have...
He's heading in the pits.
Yep, and sorry to almost cut you off there. Bill Worrell, another newcomer, currently driving the Fletcher Racing Team car for this evening, in 10th at the moment, so that's the other newcomer that's doing really well in this warm-up session.
Yeah, we should be really keeping an eye on him, because in the last race he didn't start so well, but he made it to second in the finish, I believe.
Quite so.
It was really an amazing performance for him in his first race here at ISO. Sorry.
Yep, and okay, that's why. Pressing wrong buttons here. Just wanted everyone to see what the car looks like for this evening. I know the AMC has a few different liveries across the season, and this is what it looks like this evening for the Warner Hodgson Racing Team entry with Brian Yannick behind the wheel.
Going to be interesting to watch that.
Certainly,
because this is a car that was really underrated back then. I mean, yes, it had an experimental engine with a stock block and all that, but it was a powerful engine, and the mod is actually reflecting that. So it's a car that, I mean, can hold its own against the other cars that are here.
Very much so, and it's also, I reckon, one of the I don't know exactly how torquey the engine is, but I believe, if I'm not misremembering, I believe Jason Fitch made pretty good use of it around here. Last time we visited, so...
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a stock block, so it's a very big engine. And it's got some legs around these small tracks, that's for sure. Okay.
Yep, so onto the
We
grid
are
we
in the
go.
grid now.
Yep, and Yates is, as Jason mentioned, on the front row, pole position, with White second. Fredriksson for the Pat Patrick Racing Team entries third, with Brian Yannick qualifying in fourth for Warner Hodge. Nicely done. Serge Lapinski lines up fifth, with Adam Hackman in sixth. Jules Bouchard in seventh, with Ray Riddle in eighth. David Saber lines up ninth, with Simon Wattman in 10th. Bill Worrell 11th, with Francisco Amaral 12th. Alan Santo 13th, with August Watering 14th. Rune Chacon 15th, with Keo Michiels in 16th. Angel May qualified 17th, with Greg Della Cella 18th. And Luciano Rocha actually showing up late, I'd assume, considering his warm-up pace, starting last in 19th. So that'll be another very interesting one to watch then, how well he can move up the field in these 200 laps. So just coming around the third and fourth turn here, waiting for the Corvette Stingray safety car to head into pit lane.
There he goes. And
green flag is out and we are underway, and it looks like David Yates will hold on to the lead for now. All of that being said, yes he does, and Jakob Fredriksson, his teammate, moves right up into second straight away, with Brian Yannick in third. Looks like Slapinski in fourth, with Bouchard high up there in fifth.
Slapinski, look at that move.
Ooh, that's
He's
aggressive.
Not really willing to lose time there.
Wow, that was really, really aggressive. But it worked out.
It was an interesting start with two Offenhausers that have, as we said, very good mid-range torque and very two quality drivers. And they made the best of it. So it was a very good start from Jakes and Fredriksson. And look at them. I mean, there they are playing at the front. But Slapinski saw them and thought, well, I'm not going to miss this party. I want to be part of it. And he slipped by Brian Yannick.
Very much so, but Yannick ain't letting him go. He's making that eagle work very well. And we can see there Jules Bouchard keeping right up behind them too. Rounding out the rest of the top 10 at the moment is August Watering, hoping for a better event here than last time. Jason White has slipped down to 7th, David Saber is 8th, Bill Worrell up to 9th, and Adam Hackman back to 10th. Oh, and Luciano Rocha trying to make a move on Simon Wattman in the Machinist Union entry. McLaren, and Wattman got loose on the high line and Rocha is through.
Good job there, very clean overtaking. And now he's on the move to catch up with Amaral and Santo.
And in the meantime, Yannick almost had a run up the inside there at the front, but let's go back to that little fight there with Santo, Amaral and Rocha. I believe 3 Brazilians fighting it out for 12th, 13th and 14th position right here.
And it seems that Jakes is going Wainwright style.
Oh, and there's a spinner off, that's Bill Worrell off and into the barrier hard.
Oh no, damn.
And it looks like he is possibly out of this race already. That's very, very unfortunate.
Well, it's a shame. There he is without the rear wing. And it seems that the car is moving all around, so suspension damage. That could very well mean the end of it.
We've seen the pit crew work wonders, so maybe...
Oops, there's another car in the wall that's August Watering.
Oh dear, no. That's such bad luck. But he's doing very much the right thing. He's staying there until he can get around and away. Let's see what happened to him. Looks like he just lost it trying to get a power on turbo kick with, I believe that was... would that have been
Well,
Buchard, I
August
think,
has
right
decided to
behind him.
quit while Bill Worrell is making repairs. So we'll see. And then, as I was saying, David Jakes has gone Wayne Rainey style, and then he has opened up very quickly. He has decided to go very fast and say, let's see who can follow me. And it seems that nobody is able to right now. Even Jakob Fredriksson is very much far away behind. Brian Janik is on his own trying to make a move on Cesarius Lapinski. It seems that Cesarius he had a very opportunistic move, but it's not as if he's really that much quicker than Brian Janik. It was just pure luck, and now he's suffering all the attacks from Brian Janik.
Well, I wonder if it was a case of Lapinski had the tires up a little bit faster too in terms of temperature, which Brian's definitely looks to have now, and really working over Lapinski quite a bit here, trying to find a way past.
Yeah, could be the case, but whatever the situation, it's clear that Lapinski's overtake was absolutely a skilled one, using the best of his luck. But
here comes
look
Janik.
at Janik!
Wow!
Impressive.
Oh, let's see if he can
Unfortunately
pull it off,
for him, coming out of the corner in the title line, he didn't have the traction to go for it, but he's really letting Cesarius know that he's there.
Quite so, and I think he wants to get a move on, because right behind him, I noticed just a lap ago, we have both the Penskes, 5th and 6th, and trying to catch up.
Yeah. They are definitely warming up, and before you know it, they will be all over the rear of these both drivers.
Quite so. And I can't say I envy being in either the Alex Morales racing car at the moment. That looks very understeery indeed, and obviously the Rolla Volstedt Enterprise is the Volstedt is a bit of a heavy car, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So now comes Bill Worrell after repairs out of the pits.
That's good to see.
Back in the race.
Hopefully his pit crew has worked the wonders needed to get the car to move in a straight line. As I noticed, I believe that was Luciano Rocha also moving past.
I think this is a situation that Brian Janik was wanting to avoid. He is now hounded by Adam Hackman. I mean, both Penskes did catch up with him. He's not able to overtake Cesarius. He still has Fredriksson in sight, but the Penskes are all over him. Look at Hackman there, keeping the tight line. Jason also getting a bit antsy and impatient behind him.
And I think all of them are catching up to Fredriksson too.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe Fredriksson has overheated the front tire. He's now paying for it. Brian Janik is really desperate to get around Cesarius. He doesn't know what to do. Inside, outside, out tracking, out braking.
It's very much a difficult position for him, because he definitely looks quicker than what Cesarius is, but now he might have had the run. Nope. Slow car got out of the way, but Lapinski nudged the wall then. Janik really close up in behind, almost pushing the Gilmore Racing car.
There's now going to be a big traffic jam behind Fredriksson.
Quite so, jumping on board with Fredriksson, looking back. Ooh, and that was Hackman trying to move out the inside of Janik, and Janik almost loses it on the exit. Whoa, wee. I don't know if... Ooh, and Hackman tried to run around outside, and Janik ran a little bit deep into the corner too. That very much looked like a Ride-em Cowboy moment. Oh, and it definitely looks like Fredriksson is working some understeer in the car. He's ending up way out towards the wall compared to the others.
Yeah, this is very complicated, because sometimes if you are doing your setup based on just a handful of laps, you get a car that is handling well, but you don't know what happens some more laps further into the stint. So sometimes you are in for a very bad surprise. And look at Oof. Careful,
Yannick
guys.
again. Oh, and now, Hackman tried to move around outside and had to check up, and White goes past him. And I notice, unfortunately, as well on the timing screen now that Greg De La Cella has retired from the race. I was going to have a quick look to see if we can catch what happened on the broadcast, but it looks like it was quite a few laps ago now, so unfortunately not. But sadly, Greg De La Cella has retired from the race.
Fredriksson glancing the wall there, and Brian Janik finally got Slapinski on the outside.
Wow!
Oh, Slapinski nearly put Jason White into the grass.
Oh, and there's contact between Fredriksson and White and Yannick! Oh dearie me, and Fredriksson hard into the outside barrier. Dearie me, that was not good, and it looks like possibly an engine brake there too, or maybe just broke to try and stop the car.
It's a hard call. It's always easy to say that it's the overtaking car's fault, but Fredriksson clearly was not able to hold up Brian Janik, so I don't know. It's a complicated situation. Maybe Brian was a bit too eager there.
Well, either way, that's a very hurtful moment, and Fredriksson now spinning on the grass. I think he should be able to get out of the way indeed. Trying to go to the grass to get to the pits safely, but spun and has decided to retire the car.
Meanwhile, look at Hackman. He's past Lapinski and he's now hunting down Brian Janik.
Oh, he is indeed. And I think Slapinski will soon find White past him as well. So Hackman re-passed White and then went past Slapinski, and now going up the inside of Yannick. Wow! Look at the drive he got out off of turn 2. Depends. Hackman and White definitely has got the Penske's running well here.
It's a complicated thing here because I think that Brian Janik has more push, more impulse coming out of the corners, but then obviously the Cosworth is able to stretch it more to the red line. The Hagen torque is bigger in the Cosworth than it is in the AMC, but the AMC is behaving really well here.
Definitely so. And
lap traffic now.
Definitely so, and obviously it is an Eagle-based chassis, so the chassis is probably one of the better for these short tracks, with it being fairly balanced. And I see, just wanting to have a quick look, Saber still in 6th, Ridol now in 7th, with Amaral up into 8th, and Luciano Rocha still hanging with his Brazilian compatriot in 9th, with Bruno Chacon up into the top 10. That's very nicely done indeed, and that looks to be about a four-car train there from 7th down to 10th.
So it's now Jason White's turn to try to overtake Slapinski, who is losing one position after the other. I don't know if he will get something from the experience of what Adam Hackman did. But whatever the case, it seems that Cesarius already has learned something about how the Penske's overtake, and it's making Jason's life quite difficult. Oops, there goes Adam Hackman on the outside. Very good move from Brian Janik.
Let's have a look at this on the replay. I think Hackman was sizing up that move, and that was really, really well done. Absolutely fantastic.
Now it's a question of whether he can catch up with David Jakes or not, who is 12 seconds into the lead.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, what David Jakes has done so far is nothing short of amazing because, well, we're only 26 laps into the race, so 12-second lead is about half a second per lap on the rest of the field, but it must be said also that both Penskes had not warm up, and Adam seems to be really on the move now.
Quite so, and Luciano Rocha now up into 8th, past Amaral for that position, and right up underneath Ridol, so definitely doing some very good progress. A little bit over a 10th of the race in, and I notice now Yes, that was
And just for the record, Adam Hackman's last lap was a full second quicker than it was in the case of Jake's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Definitely looks like the Penske's...
Oh, sorry, no. 0.6 of a second, sorry.
Well,
But yeah, it's definitely much quicker.
Yeah.
Much quicker. No, I was looking at another car here. But in any case, it's definitely quicker. I mean, he's catching up. The distance now has diminished to only 8.7 seconds, and it was 12 seconds a moment ago.
Well, it looks like there's a bit of traffic to contend to as well, but by the looks of things, I believe it's the Wildcat that Yates is driving. He's got set up to work very well early on in the stint, but counter-wise, the Penske's looks to be working very, very well. About
look at Jason White now.
20
He's looking at the inside there. Lipinski makes it very well out of the corner. I think he killed Jason's momentum at the apex and was able to accelerate just that fraction earlier that allows you to keep it. And I think what Jason needs to do here is really...
Ooh, there's a spinner in front of them. I believe that is...
Kayo Mikhail's there without a front wing. What Jason needs to do here is a good bit of synchronization, because we know these cars have a bit of a turbo lag, and it's also very important the moment where you time it to come out of the corner. So what Jason really needs to do is to be able to pick up on the throttle at a point where Cesarius is not really hampering him, because I think what's going on now is that Jason is able to pick up on the throttle earlier than Lipinski, but because Lipinski is there, Jason is not able to capitalize on that.
Ooh, but
look at that,
wide.
There he goes.
Nicely done. Well, very opportunistic, but look at this, the punch off the corner.
Over. Wait.
Oh, this is going to be close. With
Jason
the lap car too.
Up. But no, Cesarius concedes that position.
That's a very opportunistic move and nicely pulled off. So KO into the pits for repairs after his little off. World still running in 16th. And in May 14th with Buchar down into 13th. So I'd assume he has picked up damage somewhere, because he had a lot more speed earlier on. That, or his setup is definitely not working well, as it looks like he is heading for the pit lane. Yes, he does. Okay. We have Angel Maiden up to 13th, Wattman in 12th, Santo in 11th, Brun Chacon in 10th, Amaral in 9th, Ray Ridall down to 8th and running right behind Rocha in 7th now. David Saber still in 6th with, as we mentioned, Lipinski down to 5th, Jason White up to 4th, Brian Yannick in 3rd, Hackman in 2nd. It looks like the distance between him and Yates has stabilized to a certain degree at least, with Yates still in the lead.
Yeah, it seems that Yates was holding up, and now that he saw that Adam Hackman is behind him with clean air in front, he sped up a bit, just enough to keep Hackman in check. But we'll see, because we know the fuel consumption of the Offenhauser is worse. So we'll see how much he's able to hold on with this situation. Brian Janik now looks a solid third. Although Jason White is dealing with traffic in time to catch up with him.
Yep, and talking about traffic, there's more traffic for Yates this time. He's got the 4-car train battling for 7th to 10th. Rocha was in 11th, but it looks like he has overheated his right front and dropped to 10th very quickly in a couple of turns. And now Yates having to try and work his way around. Chacon looks to be leaving the door open, and he does. But obviously lapping traffic can be a bit of a trouble, but it's even more of a trouble when it's guys battling for position.
Mm-hmm. There's always obviously the washout in the front when you are coming into the corner. It's a complicated thing to deal with. Jake's now our leader coming to Amaral and Ridal, who are having a fight on their own.
Yep, those are the 7th and 8th placed cars. Part of that 4-car train that Jakes had to lap.
You can see where Jakes is actually getting his lap time, because he's not that much quicker at the end of the straight, but the way he's accelerating out of the corners is so much better than the other cars. He has got lots of traction, and that's obviously a good amount of it is the quality of the driver, because that throttle control of everything. Obviously also a good setup, but look at that. I mean, he catapulted the car out of the corner very easily. Big difference when compared with the other ones.
Quite
although
looks
Amaral
like a bit of a
has
battle
now,
there. Yep.
yeah, Amaral looks now to have used the opportunity, seized the opportunity to overtake Red Vidal, who is having none of it and wants his position back.
That's one of the fun things running this kind of racing. You just need to have a bit of luck and pick your moment, and you can gain either a lot of time or a lot of positions.
Yeah, a friend of mine used to say that the difference between oval and road racing is a bit like basketball and football, or soccer for the Americans. In that in soccer you might have a full match where there is 90 minutes and there is always action once where you get the goal, and in basketball it's continuous. You're all the time scoring there, no? So it's in oval racing it's like that. I mean, there is always action on the track. It's always overtaking, lots of action there when compared to road racing, where there is like that special momentum and there is a overtaking move.
I would almost more liken that to, with that analogy, soccer/football and floorball, since that's what I've got more experience with, but I completely get the analogy. Talking about action, we have David Saber now, only a few tenths. Oh, as Alan Santo has a moment. Oh, dearie me, whatever happened there? Alan Santo looks to be out. That was a very, very big crash. Yep, he has retired the car. Looked like he got caught up in something. Looks like he was having a bit of a battle. Okay, so he had a battle with Wattmann. Got squarely coming off turn 4. Car snapped on him. He hit the inside barrier, and then looks like he hit the retaining tire barrier at the end of pit lane.
Yeah, I think it was a case of too much throttle there, because these cars can spin the wheels even in 4th gear in the main straight. So you need to be really careful with the throttle there, and if you are eager when trying to overtake, this is something that can easily happen to you.
Quite so. Well,
meanwhile, Jake's lead has diminished to only 7 seconds, which is quite interesting because Hackman is really catching up with him.
So Hackman is possibly working the traffic a little bit better compared to what Jakes is able to do at the moment, and it looks like White has more or less caught up to Yannick too. And we have the battle for 5th and 6th between Schlapinski and Saber.
Yeah, Jason White honoring the comments he has made about being patient. There he is battling his good friend Brian Yannick. They are both good friends in real life from Detroit. But he's there waiting for his opportunity. He's not really forcing it.
Well, I wonder if he's thinking that Yannick might be quick enough anyway, but considering he has caught him, it's probably not going to be too long a time before he catches him completely. As I noticed, Bill Worrell has retired, so I'd assume his was the tire smoke that I saw earlier. Oh, no! Ooh. Wow, that was close. So Jason did the same kind of move that Hackman did on Yannick, but Yannick didn't see him go up there, and they almost interlocked tires and both went into the barrier, but luckily they both survived that one. Well, that was very close indeed.
Well, Jason is finally in front. It's good for him. Although Jakes is in the lead now, Jason is 3rd, and this doesn't help him in the championship. But we'll see, still a long race with only 49 laps out of 200.
Technically 50 out of 200, so we're a quarter
Yeah,
of
50,
the race
sorry,
through.
for the leader it's already 50. I was looking at Jason, who has not yet crossed the finish line. There he goes. That's 50 for him now.
And now it's Adam Hackman's time to try and deal with traffic, and we can immediately see that at least what it looked like, the time is fluctuating a little bit on my screen, but looks like he has lost a little bit of time now to Yates once again.
Yes, it seems the case that Jakes was actually losing time because of traffic, and now the distance is stretching up a bit again. It's up to 10 seconds now. But once both are in clean air, I think that Hackman has a bit more of pace. Although you never know, because Jakes is a very calculating driver, so he might be actually controlling the race.
Well, it's definitely difficult to tell for sure. I suppose it's a case of we'll have to wait and see. At least for another, I'd assume, 20 odd laps before we see the first pit stops.
Sabre now really antsy, trying to overtake Slapinski.
Very much so, and they have the leader about half the straight behind them, so that shows how quickly Yates is going around this track.
Whoa! Look at David Sabre. Well, he got eager with the throttle. He really wanted to have that run. Remember what we were talking about before the start of the race? The overtaking here happens in the previous turn. Sabre was trying to get the run on Cesarius there, but that was too much of a throttle.
Quite so, and I wonder if he was expecting to have a bit of washout from the dirty air from behind Slapinski there. But instead the car obviously had it a bit more hooked up at the front. As you say, too much throttle, and around he went.
Yeah, that's another of the problems that you might get here. And that you get washout from the car in front, so you're tempted to put even more steering into the corner to try to compensate for that washout. But then once you get in cleaner, you find yourself accelerating hard and with the wheels turned more to the left than you can actually cope with. So the spin is always lurking there.
Quite so.
Only 5.5 seconds now between Jakes and Hackman.
Give or take about a second to that, I'd assume, rearwards, but yeah, definitely closed up this time around. It looks like, I believe Jakes can't see any reason why he would have lost that much time, so that's a very interesting development.
Well, I think he's pacing himself. He has a fuel consumption deal to match. And also the Offenhauser might be overheating a bit. I can see in his lap times that he's doing 27.7 now very regularly. He did 27.9, 27.5, but that was because of the traffic. When he's out of traffic, he's nearly a clock. Absolutely regular. I mean, 27.732, and the next lap was 27.733. That's a single thousandth of a second of the pace of the previous lap, which is quite amazing.
That's consistency.
That's consistency. Very true.
I wonder if he in this race then is doing something similar to what I would say whenever I've been driving and I've been complaining about being inconsistent, and inconsistency is like 0.2 of a second. I wonder if he's doing something similar here with, if he's more than, say, 1/10 of his set lap time, he says, "Ooh, that was a bad lap."
Well, obviously here we're talking about 27 seconds lap, so I mean the difference, if you're consistent, must be small anyway.
Right.
in the case of Adam Hackman, we're talking here about 27.3, 27.5, so he's steadily making his way up.
So it's all been about the traffic then, having held Adam back a little bit, I wonder.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'd assume we're also closing in on pit stops, so maybe 8 to 18 laps away, considering we haven't had a yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And that,
yeah, I think we should be seeing a single half-race pit stop here.
Do you think they'll be able to go that far, even on the green flag running?
No. We will see. We will see. I mean, if you are going for a two-stop strategy, then in 200 laps, well, we should be close to pit stops now. But they don't seem to be really going that much quicker compared to when they started the race. So I assume they still have a lot of fuel. Maybe we can see people here doing two-stop strategy. But I don't know. I have the feeling that many people will try here the single-stop strategy. Although it could very well be that they are waiting for a yellow to happen.
Well, that's definitely a possibility. I mean, pitting on the green here and then the yellow comes out, you've lost a lap or two, as we mentioned before the race. So it could definitely be a thing. And I wonder, yet again, if it's a case as mentioned early on in the race where maybe that Wildcat is very, very quick with a lot of fuel in it, and then as the fuel burns off, it gets a bit off balance and maybe a bit of overheat due to higher revs, and the Penske becomes a little bit quicker with less fuel in and more revs in it.
Yeah, that sounds very logical, because the Offenhauser, it gets you out of the corners very quickly, but if you're stretching it too much in the straights, you're overheating it, then you're using up too much fuel. Although we know Jake's car has a special version of the Offenhauser, the late version of it, that's the DSG engine. It's a bit more powerful, but it's still an Offenhauser, so the characteristics are basically still the same.
I noticed here also we have a nice little battle going on between Ray Riddle and Bruno Chacon. Really nice to see Bruno up there on pure pace and merit. Whereas it looks like Ray Riddle is heading for the pits. So it looks like Ray is
there
out
you go.
of
I mean,
fuel.
the cars who are on a two-stop strategy are starting to stop now. So that's why I was thinking that maybe the leader is on a single-stop strategy. Who knows? Because he doesn't seem to be right now like pitting. I don't know. Only 2.7 seconds between him and Adam Hackman now.
Here they come. Yates into turn 1, then Michiel's behind him, and then Hackman.
Although it also should be said that Jake's having that lead in the championship, his mentality going into this race and the way he's looking at it is obviously very different than in the case of Adam Hackman. I mean, he's thinking about scoring points, he's thinking towards the championship, and he's not really that worried about the result here. Of course, I mean, any competitive driver will take that victory anytime, but I don't think that he's really losing sleep over it. He just wants to score well here.
Quite so. And that being said, though, I think this is one of the better tracks for that chassis and engine combination. So while wanting to score well, he definitely wants to score very well based on the fact that we have, especially next time out, the California 500 coming up, which I reckon will be quite difficult event, especially for the Offenhausers.
Okay, Jake's is signaling the pits now. And I was about to say that one interesting thing I was seeing is that he is actually using third gear. There he goes into the pits. So third gear means he was not trying to save on fuel. He was really trying to go quick. So yeah, there he goes.
And Yannick in the pits behind him too.
Okay. I was about to ask what the other cars were doing, but Hackman is staying one lap out, which is interesting. Maybe he thinks he has the pace to really put that difference now.
Well, he's going for one more lap at least.
Okay, I think Jakes is coming out of the pits now.
Yep. It'll be about 10 car lengths between them, I reckon.
Yeah, something like that, like the whole Main Street. Not even that. Let's see, Hackman, no. It seems that the Cosworth has a good fuel consumption. Well, if that's the case, I mean, if Hackman is able to stretch it and be able to only do a single stop, then you can say that Jakes is toast, basically.
It's probably also a case of running it until it runs dry, pretty much. I mean, with the benefit of the yellow, so...
No, and the single stop strategy is feasible here. And I think what's going on here is that that's explaining the pace that Jakes had. Is that Jakes had a car that had not a full tank. So he was basically going quicker, counting on doing 2 stops. Whereas Hackman is probably on a single stop strategy and he loaded way more fuel. Because 75 laps now without stopping, I don't think he's going for a 2-stop strategy here.
No, he's probably...
Oh no, he's signaling.
Well done, so maybe this is a full fuel tank distance.
So I have to eat my words. And it seems that Hackman is... No,
okay, maybe just had a bit of a moment coming off the turn.
Maybe it was an automatic thing. The pit crew is thinking that he should be going in, but...
Well, then he's probably closing in on his fuel limit. You see, Yannick has pitted.
So he's running in 4th gear, actually, so... Yeah, he's saving fuel when compared with Jakes.
And there's Luciano Roja coming out of the pits.
But he now scores another lap. So he's not heading into the pit, so that's interesting. His pit crew jumped the gun. I mean, they are calling him in, but he's not going into the pit. So he's in 4th gear. He's obviously able to stretch it a bit more. Seems confident about it. We'll see what happens. Okay, he's slowing down now. Yeah, there he goes.
Yep, so definitely was closing in on the end of his fuel run, but... taking the opportunity right now. Let's see what his teammate does. Looks like White will be going around again. Unless I misidentified cars. I did, but here comes Jason.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
He goes round.
There's Jason now. He's in the lead now.
And here comes Jakes too. So Jakes will beat him out on track at the moment. I think Jakes on pure time here, it will be a little bit further ahead than before the pit stops, if only by a second or 2.
Jason is signaling pits now. He's not going in, but the pit crew is telling him that he's low on fuel.
So 2, 3, maybe 4 laps more, and then White will be in the pits too.
So I think the situation is nobody had a full tank. They were all like going for the 2-stop strategy, but the difference is that the Cosworth engine cars, they felt probably confident about the pace, so they had a bit more fuel in them. And the reason to do that is just basically that we are hoping for a yellow. You want to have that ability to be able to choose when there is a yellow, whether to try to make it with a single pit stop under the yellow, or if you are trying to advance or get a later pit stop here. Let's see what Jason does now. He's on the lead now. He's only 7 seconds in front of everyone.
Looks like he's one more lap at least.
No, he's going for another lap. Okay.
As Francisco Amaral comes out of the pits in the meantime, so looks like most of the top 10 has pitted now, apart from White. And I believe Vatman is still running on the same tank he had before.
So let's see what Jason does now. Yeah, he's slowing down, I think.
Yep.
Yes, definitely. He's coming in the pits now.
And it looks like Vatman is into the pits too. I noticed the machinist colours. So White back down to third with Yates and Hackman flying past. Let's see if he's able to beat Yannick out of the pits though. Yannick's been running a few laps now with new tyres and a full tank of fuel. So I believe that's Yannick coming up now. No, that's Michiels. Let's see, here comes Yannick behind Rocha. So I believe White will just about be able to hold on ahead of Yannick, this Detroitian devil friend. By about
Hackman now really closing in on Yates. He has the legs. And he's obviously getting very close now, trying to pass Yates in some laps.
Yep, we're on board with Hackman now, and we can see that he is definitely closing in on Yates, and look at that, Yates struggling mid-corner.
Yeah, not that this is going to affect a lot the championship, because his main rival is Jason. What Yates really wants is to keep Jason behind him, and he doesn't really care that much about that time. He had some unfortunate results so far that had meant that he's not able to contend for the championship. Although there is always, of course, the third 500 miler, where there are 1,000 points at play, and if you don't finish there and someone wins it, it suddenly can catapult you up in the championship very much.
Quite so. And it's a case of if Hackman wins here and closes in by roughly 60 to 80 points, I believe that puts him within range of, if he wins and Yates doesn't finish next time out, Hackman will go past him in the championship standings.
Although I think Hackman right now, even obviously he's interested in scoring well in the race, he's actually thinking also of his teammate. Because if he can put Jake's a position down, that obviously always helps Jason.
Very much so, but I think Jason will, unless something happens or yellow comes out, will have to be happy with third place, because that's 26 seconds he's behind. Mainly due to, again, a bit of a lackluster start. That looks like Hackman definitely is right now maybe trying to save a bit of fuel running behind Yates and seeing what kind of opportunities he'll have to try and go past Yates. Because that's obviously another part of oval racing and racing in general, really. If you catch up to someone, if you have the time, look, you probably want to stay behind him for just a little bit of time and look what are his strengths and what are his weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And as we saw earlier, Yates seemed to be struggling mid-corner, so possibly another moment of Hackman going around outside of someone. Ooh, as there's some lap traffic. I believe that's Daniel May and Francisco Amaral, both of them getting out of the way, but that will have caused Yates to check up just a tiny bit.
Well, it's obvious that Adam Hackman is taking it easy. I mean, he knows he has more pay than Yates. This is a long race. We're not even mid-race. We're in lap 91. So he is happy to be there and try to capitalize on any mistake that Yates makes. I mean, when you're in this situation, if you're second, if you're happy with your car, if you're comfortable with your pace, and if you see that you're quicker than the car in front, if you're not even mid-race there, you obviously what you really want is not to make mistakes. You just want to be there, right behind the other car, let him know that you are there, but you're not in a hurry. It's the pressure is absolutely on the car in front. He knows that you are quicker, he knows that you are coming, he knows that you are there to capitalize on any possibility of overtaking him. And that's what makes him nervous. It's not as if we were only 5 laps away from the finish, where everybody will be getting very antsy. But in this situation, I mean, it's absolutely Jake's turn to lose his position.
Quite so, and it's also the closest battle we have on track at the moment. Also noticing that White and Yannick will need to get a bit of a move on because they are being closed in by the leaders. So there we can see Yannick, and right behind him right now is Yates and Hackman. So soon, if Yannick can't get a little bit more pace out of the car, there will be 3 cars on the lead lap.
That's certainly not good for Jason in terms of his hopes for the championship, because he needs to be able to make a dent in Jake's lead. Well, I think that Jason is actually taking it easy. He doesn't want to make any error, and he thinks even if Jake is making a bit of a smaller step forward here, gaining some points on him, I think what Jason is really hoping for is to score well in the California 500, because he knows that once he has done that, he should be able to be there in championship contention towards the end of it.
Quite so, a bit of a moment there for Yates, I think. Rear end got a little bit squirrely coming off of 3, so shows he's definitely working hard. And I would agree with you, but it's
very clinical approach from Hackman. Textbook putting pressure on the car in front, but not making anything risky, not losing his head at all.
Not using up too much fuel or tires either to do it, so...
No. You really need to be careful here with tire management. So the main issue here is that he's facing a very old fox. Jakes is a real veteran of this, and he knows very well how to escape from this situation. And we've seen that in many races. If there is a Houdini-like driver, that's Jakes.
Well, that's true, but we need to remember Hackman is from Indiana, and I believe oval racing runs in the blood in that place. So it'll be interesting to see who picks
right
up
now is
the
Hackman.
win
Hackman
here.
is controlling the race, obviously. He's just behind David Jakes, and it's about like telling him, I'm here to capitalize on any mistake, and if I increase the boost, I will be able to overtake you. But, and that's the important thing, I don't believe that Jakes is showing all his cards yet. I mean, he's letting Hackman be there, happily lurking behind, but I think that Jakes has still some pace up his sleeve.
Quite, but now he's got another plate on his hands because Yannick is behind, is right ahead of him now, and I don't think Yannick wants to go that lap down. Oh, saying that though, Yannick now stays wide as Jakes very clearly showed. I want up the inside, let me by, and Yannick complies. I thought he'd make it a little bit more tricky than that to be lapped, but all worked out, I suppose. And now Jason White is the car in danger, although 2 lapped cars in between them, but I think that's the biggest carrot point for Jakes at the
with the
moment.
lap traffic is where Jakes can like show his... Look at all the bunch of cars that is in front of David Jakes now. if he really can calculate things well, he should be able to maybe put one or even two cars between Hackman and him if he times it properly. I mean, there's a big traffic jam in front.
Indeed. But there's also the slight chance that Hackman might be opportunistic and make a bit of a pick here.
Yeah, Hackman obviously is also seeing it. And he's just thinking, if I'm glued to the rear wing of Jakes, he shouldn't be able to let me behind. Look at that, he's going in. He wants to put, look at that, good move there. Very risky, but he put there Bouchard in the middle. And look at that, look at that. I mean, that was a very skillful move from Jakes. He risked it a bit, but he opened a bit of a stretch between Hackman and him. That's what we were talking about. Now he's really pushing it. Maybe he even upped the boost a bit. And he wants to put some more cars inside. Yes, he puts now David Sabre. Look at that. Very skillful move from David Jakes. I mean, people, casual viewers looking at this might think, oh, he was lucky. He just did this or that. But no, I can tell you, this was a very skillful move. It was absolutely planned from the lap before.
And now White goes a lap down, so that means 2 cars on the lead lap. But look at that, Hackman working it very well, and maybe White giving him a bit of a helping hand there, forcing Yates to stay low on the exit of 4. And Hackman is now back right up underneath the rear wing.
Yeah, the Penske has obviously way more pace than the Wildcat in the case of Jakes. But I mean, Jakes had to play his cards, and what he did with the traffic was very skillful. He probably just didn't count with Hackman being able to recover so quick. But anyway, in the meantime, we're in lap 107, and that's what the game is all about. Trying to keep it there and let the laps go one after another while you are in the lead.
Well, in the lead and running second. And again, I'm very much interested in knowing if Hackman is saving fuel, sitting in behind Yates here, because I'm not entirely sure how much fuel you can save compared to running on your own around this short oval.
Yeah, I don't think the draft is playing a big role here. It's more a matter of how smooth you are on the throttle and the pressure that you are keeping. But at this point, I think the situation is very obvious to both. I mean, Hackman is controlling the race. He's letting Jakes know that he will not be left behind, that he can follow him. And Jakes basically needs to exercise a lot of patience and a lot of skill, because there are not so many cars anymore in the race. I mean, we've got 14 cars on the track now. That's what Jakes can play with.
Quite. And that's Ray Riddle, I believe, in the Lola, being lapped by the leaders.
And even if Prix made it very easy for Adam Hackman, look at that. I mean, Jakes was able to open a bit of a gap there.
I just got a little bit distracted because I realized we had first, second, third and fourth running nose to tail down the front straight a couple of laps ago.
Yellow,
Wait,
yellow.
Wow,
yellow.
just after they lapped the cars just off the lead lap. Oh, that looks like a big off for someone.
And could this be the opportunity for Jakes to dive? There he goes in the pits. I was thinking about it. Could this be the opportunity? Yes. I mean, Jakes definitely knows that he can do the rest of the distance with this skill.
Oh dear.
88 laps. That's going to be it for him. Jakes is in the pits now. He made his bet. He's committed to it. He thinks that he can do those 88 laps on the fuel. While Hackman will instead have to pit on the green.
Well,
because it's for sure that he will have to pit again. There goes Jakes out again. He's still in second. Very good move by him. This is the things that Jakes is a master at. I mean, reading a race. And knowing what to do in each moment. He showed it at Texas World Speedway. And I think it's going to be the same here. Some more cars going in the pits there.
Yep. And to tell you about what happened if you didn't see it, it looked like Keomi Keels was trying to go around outside of Angel May, and they chose the same piece of tarmac. A bit of contact was made, and unfortunately Michiels hit the outside barrier, spun back halfway down the banking, and Simon Wattman had nowhere else to go but smacked into the rear of him, and both of them retired more or less on the spot, unfortunately. Positive to take out of that was that I don't think Angel May received any major damage, and she's still running in what will soon to be 11th place.
So here's the situation now. Adam Hackman is first, both on track and in position, because he's right behind the safety car, but he still has to pit.
Well, maybe
Jakes in turn has made his final pit stop now, and he should be able to make it till the end. So if the situation goes on like this, Adam Hackman will have to pit on the green unless we have a second yellow with some laps. And this is going to, because Jakes is just 2 seconds behind Hackman. So if Hackman has to pit on the green, that's going to be his downfall, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Jakes is the 4th car in line right here, so I wonder if it would be worth it for Hackman to pit now and just get the stop out of the way and try to chase after him even through the traffic.
Yeah, we don't know if they are being told that the safety car is about to go out. Let's see what happens, because I can see it going very much to the inside. Maybe he's going for another lap. Yes, he's going. Hackman is not stopping. Oh, he's betting everything on there being a second yellow, or at him being quick enough to be able to catch up with Jakes, even if he has to pit on the green. Oh, that's a risky bet. Jakes made a very skillful move there.
Very much so. If Hackman has to pit on the green, he needs a 30-second gap. I'm not sure that's possible to eke out in roughly 50 laps, 60 laps. And someone else is just coming out of the pit lane by the sounds of things. That's Saber having pitted. Comes out in 10th place. Angel May up into 11th as mentioned earlier, and Bouchard in 12th.
Let's see what the safety car does now, because every lap that we get under caution, Jakes is rubbing his hands in satisfaction. Oh, there goes the safety car. We're on the green. Right now. Oh, look at Yannick. Look at Yannick.
Definitely putting that AMC to good work, and he is wanting a yellow right now so he can get back up to the front.
And look at Jakes. Look at Jakes now. He's right behind Adam Hackman. I mean,
wow.
There is nearly a full lap there.
Wow. That's one hell of a restart.
We say that many times, but that was a master move on David Jakes.
That is... I wonder if the drivers he flew past were thinking something along the lines of, where the hell did he come from? And now obviously the positions are reversed, so now Jakes could possibly try and save just a tiny bit of fuel sitting in behind Hackman instead.
Wait a moment. What's up with this? I can see the icon of Jake signaling pits now. That cannot be possible.
That sounds very strange indeed.
Did he get a drive-through maybe?
I hope not.
I just hope this is some kind of stupid error from the game.
Oh, so we've had a big spinner off the final turn. Hit the inside barriers by the looks of things. I just called it at the On the outside.
Bouchard.
Bouchard indeed. Dear me, I just caught it out the corner of my eye, more or less.
Whoops! And he spins again and hits the wall. Ay, ay, ay. Are we getting another yellow? No, because he's not stopping. What's he doing? Going to the apron. If he keeps it there, they should be able to go on. What's going on here? Hackman is also signaling the pits.
Oh no 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 no! Ay, caramba! That's very unfortunate. Chacon got held up by Jules Bouchard just now, quite a bit. Obviously, Bouchard without wings is in a very difficult position, and Chacon, unfortunately, I believe, lost a position through all that.
Yeah, he shouldn't leave the apron at this point. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Bard is there crawling to the pits. And we have now Hackman trying to lap again Brian Janik.
Yeah, but I wonder if Yannick might be trying to hold on here. And
I've lost the count of how many times Brian has stopped. I don't think he did stop before. Yes, I think that's the case. Okay, he's now opening a bit the door for Hackman, but Hackman obviously has to work for it. Ha! And look at Jakes. And he's just basically staying there, knowing that Hackman has still one pit stop to do. That's going to be nearly a full lap. So for Jakes, it's now a matter of following Hackman. It's a game of a waiting game. Well, it's also a matter if David Jakes can do 80 laps on whatever fuel he got, which obviously must be a full tank, and the tires, but still, he's in a very advantaged position right now.
yeah, and it's a case of even if Hackman just does a splash, it's still like 15 to 20 odd seconds the transition from pulling off the racetrack to being up to full speed again. It looks like Hackman is now going up the inside.
Yeah, Janik is not making it difficult for James either. There you go.
Well, it's a case of pushing it as far as he can to try and stay on the lead lap, but sportingly, when the fast guy shows that I am going through, he opened up the door and let it happen. And
Hackman is now opening a bit of a gap, but now the question is, what's Hackman going to do? Because he can either crank up the boost and try to open up the gap so that he can do his pit stop and gain as much advantage on Jakes as possible, or he can try to conserve the fuel and hope for a second yellow. I think so far what he's doing is increasing the boost and going for it.
Definitely a possibility. Difficult to say
but
for sure.
It's a long way round.
I was contemplating whether he was actually making enough fuel during the yellow to make it to the end, but based on the gap he's opening up, as you say, that's definitely not the case.
No, and he stopped at lap 70 or something like that, so
I believe
I
it would have
think
been
absolutely
76.
he's unable to finish like this the race. He's just cranking at the boost and trying to make some distance with Jakes, but he's only 1 second in front of Jakes. He needs to be at least 20-something seconds, because that's what it takes to stop here. It's nearly a full lap.
It'll be a
And
tall
when
order.
he does his stop, after doing his stop, he should be able to crank up the boost and try to overtake Jakes, but he will need to also do it on the track. Well, he will be on fresh tires, obviously, and he has the Cosworth power car, but still, I mean, it's a bit of a mountain to climb.
Quite, but he's starting to set to the task, as they say, and Now has a 2 second and a little bit gap, I believe. So let's say he gains about half a second a lap, as he was faster previously by about 6/10.
That would take him about 50 laps until he can do a safe pit stop.
Yeah, so...
And 50 laps, I mean, 50 laps, I don't know if his fuel is going to reach that much. We will see.
Based on the pace he's going at now, probably not, but he could get very close to a safe pit stop, and that could be what he's aiming for. And then, as you say, up the boost still and trying to chase after him for the final 30-odd laps.
Yeah, meanwhile, Yannick can lap himself for Jakes, which is not going to help Jakes at all.
Maybe showing Jakes is having to save just a little bit of fuel to be sure he makes it.
Yeah, definitely. Oof, Hackman is really flying. He has put now 4 seconds on Jakes. So his strategy is obvious at this point. Crank up the boost, go for it, go like hell. Pit when it's needed, and go like hell again.
Quite. Problem is he can't push too hard, because then his tires will overheat and he won't be able to pull away, so it's a very fine margin and line to try and balance on.
5 seconds already at that.
Well, it's definitely
he's obviously very much lighter on fuel when compared with Jakes, because he still needs to stop. But it's going to be a catch-up game, that's for sure. When Hackman stops, after that, Jakes is going to make it to the end, and Hackman needs to catch up with him and overtake him on the track. It's going to be quite interesting.
Very much so, and it looks like Chacon is running now right behind Jakes and possibly will try to unlap himself too. Or the duo here might have lapped him just a moment ago, but it looked like Chacon was right up and behind them, but dropped back, so probably a lapping for the two. So let's actually jump on board with Hackman for a lap or two as Daniel May heads for the pits for her second and final stop. See how this track is to be driven when you're pushing as hard as you possibly can without trying to overheat the tires.
It's now 6 seconds in front. He really obviously has his mindset on what he needs to do in this race. It's a matter now of seeing if he can do it. Out with Brian Yannick. They both are friends, but they are not doing any favors to each other now. Jakes is now in front. Yannick lets him through. But in the meantime, it's 8 seconds between Jakes and Hackman.
Yep, and Hackman just turned a 27.2, about a tenth of his fastest lap, so he's definitely doing everything he can within his might to try and open up the gap as far as he can.
One interesting thing I can see is that Jakes is still in third gear. He's peaking at 9,000 RPM, which is a safe amount of RPMs before the turns. But, I mean, he should be going 80-something laps on that fuel. So I'm surprised that he's not in fourth gear. Maybe he's confident that he can do the distance like this.
Well, he did about 73 or 74 laps before without a yellow, so he may have been cruising around in fourth during the yellow, and honestly, obviously I don't know what he did early on in the stint, but he may have been running fourth in behind Hackman for a couple of laps there too. As Ray Riddle now heads for the pit lane for his second and possibly final stop. Yannick coming out from his second and final stop. So based on the yellow, I reckon Hackman could probably can only go to around maybe 150, 155.
Whoops, there's a car getting sideways. Seems like he saved it.
At least no car parts on the track.
Yeah, I think that was Bouchard. The car got sideways, but he got it again in shape. He's having a fight there with Luciano Rocha.
Looks like it's a case of
slapping him.
Yep, looks like Bouchard running his own race, obviously opening up a gap, but only just enough for what he needs to open up to be enough, so to speak. Let's see, about 9 seconds now. Yeah.
Yes, 9 to 10 seconds between Hackman and Jakes.
And Amaral being very, very sporting there, leaving a big gap for Hackman to streak past. Nicely done. And I wonder if Yakes got held up in a bit of traffic just now. Possibly will be, because he's got Riddle and look like Bouchard and one other. Ray Riddle, he's struggling to get past, but I think he'll make it now. He does.
And even if Hackman is slowly gaining on Jakes, I know that he will be praying for another yellow.
Quite so, that would definitely save his race in terms of really fighting for the win, but it's a case of he'll definitely try hard, and we'll have to see what if and when. It looks like the traffic definitely held up Yakes a little bit. So that 150 now for Hackman. I reckon he's got about 5 laps left in the tank. So ideally he'd probably want another 3 odd seconds here to give him a decent chance.
And we're on lap 150, so we're 2/3 into the race. Final 50 laps to go.
And now the hunt will definitely be on, both for young and old.
Hackman has a 12-second advantage. I'm wondering how long it will take for him to pit. I don't think he can go the distance like that.
No, I think
he's going to stretch it for a splash and go. He's certainly going in 4th gear, I can see that. And he's just barely touching the 9,000 RPM mark before the turns.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think he would probably be able to get maybe 155 based on the fact that he hasn't... the pit crew hasn't come out yet, maybe even 160, but I don't think he'll get much further than that. Even with the help of the yellow.
"13 seconds now, but that's not nearly what he needs to be able to fend off the Jakes.
I reckon if he can get 15 seconds in the lead, that'll make it about 5 to 10 seconds after his splash and maybe a quick set of right side tires, and that should be doable with 40 or so laps left. At least to catch up. The question is, will he be able to pass him too?
Yes, we have said many times, getting there is one thing and passing is another. Although, obviously on fresh tires and with a Penske, he shouldn't have too many difficulties for taking a wildcat on very warm tires. You never know. Whatever the case, there doesn't seem to be much action on the track, but this is a really strategic race. I mean, and it's tipping us on our toes.
Indeed. It looks like it was about 14 seconds that time around. Oh, and looks like Bouchard has blown his engine. That's why it was slow down the back straight. He has indeed. Yep. His car is spewing a lot of oil.
What's he doing? He
oil
should
and
be going
fire
into
smoke.
the pits.
Oh, please don't bring out a yellow now.
What is he doing? He cannot crawl like that on the main straight. He should be quitting.
I really hope he doesn't bring out a yellow. That would really... While it would make it really, really interesting, I'd prefer to see it green all the way, so we really get to see what this strategy would work out at.
Okay, he's moving out. And that's the thing he should have done in the first place. He hasn't quit yet.
As I believe that's Schlapinski possibly heading for the pits for
a
bit of fuel and tires. So let's see if he can make it to 160. I think he pitted 4 or 5 laps before Hackman, so 165 I'd assume would be the aim then for Hackman to get to. Oh, he's slowing down right now. Here he comes into the pits. So this is where the money will be made. Will the pit crew be able to work well enough here? Let's see, here comes Yakes flying past. Taking at least right side tires is Hackman. And there he goes. Fairly decent pit stop. But that will be 15 or so seconds.
He's still in second. He's still in second. And he's about 15 seconds behind. Yeah, 14 point something. 15 seconds, yeah. So you were right on the money. He has now lap traffic to deal with.
Well, hopefully both of them will see him.
And it's 39 agonic lap to go for David Jakes. That's going to be a really hard thing.
This is going to be a clincher. This is going to be a very close affair. A lot of it.
And I haven't seen yet Jason White or Brian Janik pit. So it's interesting to see what they will be doing.
Yannick has already pitted, that I know for sure.
Okay.
He pitted around lap 149, 150, I think.
So Jakes has now a lead of 14 seconds, which is shrinking slowly. In some more laps, I'll give you the lap times that both are doing. But I think it's safe to assume that Hackman is going quicker. Aha, so Jakes did 27.7 and Hackman's last lap was 26.8. So nearly a full second quicker. Yes.
That's his
what the
quickest
fresh
lap
tires
of
do
the
for
race.
you.
Another 26.8.
Yeah, that's the quickest lap in the race so far. And there's a man that is committed on a mission.
And I don't think Jakes can go much quicker without risking the engine.
No, and probably also the tires. So I think strategy-wise he did the right thing. He did the absolute best he could. But the pace of the Penske here is really amazing, so that's for sure. If Jakes is not able to win this race, he's going to fall with honor.
Well, no matter how this goes, as you say, that strategy is definitely commendable and worked really well. But again, it's a case of sometimes, even when you do everything right, there might be someone who is just a little bit quicker over the full distance. Or on occasion have more luck. But I reckon this time around it's the chassis engine driver combination being just a little bit quicker over the full distance by looking at how it's going right here right now. Yes, checking back, Jason White, I believe he's still waiting to pit, but I'm not entirely sure. Yannick in 4th at the moment, Amaral up to 5th, so he will be happy with that, I'm fairly sure. Schlapinski down to 6th after his pit stop.
Well, Jason still has to pit, and he's at risk because Brian Janik is only 16 seconds behind him, so he should be losing the 3rd position in that case.
Indeed, we'll have to wait and see whether that's the case or not.
Let me check his lap times and I'll tell you if he did pit or not.
Bruno Chacon is 8th in the meantime, Rocha 9th and Saber 10th, Angel May running 11th.
So from what I can see here, Jason has not pit yet. So this might be indeed a risky situation for him. He's looking probably for a splash and go with only right side tires and be able to overtake Brian Janik. 8 seconds only, the lead for David Jakes now. 30 laps to go.
It definitely looks inevitable at this point whether he'll finish first or second based on pace, but yet again it's all a case of catching is one thing, passing is definitely something else, although it has to be said Hackman has shown to be quite a prolific passer on this particular track.
Yeah, and traffic is always there a factor.
Indeed.
I think Jakes is still in 3rd gear, and I believe the reason is that for whatever combination he tried, it seems that the 3rd gear on this ratio was the one that suited best what the car could do. So that probably explains why he hasn't used the 4th gear so far. It's certainly very well matched to the car because it barely hits 9,000 RPM at the end of the straights, which is what you want in the open hauser engines. and yet it allows to keep him a quite decent pace.
Indeed, definitely putting the chassis and car to very good use. I believe White has now been into the pits. I noticed he exited the pit road.
Yeah, because he's in 4th and he has to catch up with Brian Janik now, who is 20 seconds in front of him. That's going to be a tall order. With only 29 laps to go.
Well, I'm sure he's going to give it a very good...
between the leader and David Jakes. Between the leader and Hackman.
Well, I'm sure Jason will give it a red-hot go. He's closing up at the moment, but for now, the biggest interest, I'm sorry to everyone else in the race who doesn't get that much airtime, yet the battle between Jakes and Hackman is the bit to watch right now. Especially now that White is right ahead of Jakes. Jakes dives up the inside. White stays wide, but again Jakes has to stay tight on the exit, so possibly losing a little bit of time to Hackman right there. It's one of those things where Jason White ain't doing a thing wrong, it's just the way the traffic in the situation as it is goes. Ooh, as Jakes has a bit of a loose moment trying to get by Aniel May.
Yep. He was eager to accelerate out of the corner because he knows that Hackman is chasing him. But still, I mean, the gap is still 7, even nearly 8 seconds. The laps are passing, they're going by. There's traffic and you never know, there's always a driving error. So what Jakes is basically trying to do is let Hackman know that if he wants to win this race, he has to take some risks.
Very much so, and next time by I believe we'll have 20 laps left.
The leader is going to cover now lap 179.
Okay, so 21 laps left then. Looks like Hackman gained 3/10 that lap.
That's, I believe, due to lap traffic. But Hackman was actually being held up right now behind traffic. He's now in clean air again.
Still gained a 10th on Jakes by the looks of things, so... Definitely giving it all he's got.
Slowly but steadily gaining on David Jakes. Question is, will this remaining 19 laps be enough? Because it's starting to look really tight.
Well, it's probably going to get down to how much more difficult will it be for those old tires to keep the speed up in the corners for Jakes, and obviously how will the traffic situations play out.
I believe ways it's going to hold up well, but it's a matter also of engine heat and well, not so much the tire wear, but if you're pushing them too much, they might overheat for some laps until you cool them down.
Right. And that said, now with a bit of clear
Oh,
road for
Jakes is in the pits. Look at that.
What?
So it seems he wasn't actually able to go the full distance like that.
Wow.
Oh, and
Yep,
he's out now?
That's a very quick splash. I wonder if that's a realization right now. I won't make it. I need a bit more fuel and just taking the pain right now to try and do whatever he can to get it back. Especially with a yellow or something late in the race.
Could be. That's a turn in the events that we were not expecting.
Very much so. And Brian Yannick back in the pits too. And he's down to 5th too. So Francisco Amaral up into 4th. And Yannick down to 6th because Schlapinski is passed as well. Actually, there's something I want to check because I heard some kind of contact earlier on. Yeah, Yannick was missing his front wing.
Oh no.
So I wonder if he lost it in the turn 4 area. Let's see, he's up behind Angel May. Yep, so he tried to lap Angel May. Angel May got hit and probably
think he
punctured.
understeered into the wall when coming out in the wake of the car in front.
No, I think him and Angel May made contact because Angel May span at the end of the straight, which I think was due to puncture, so I believe that was contact between the two of them actually. So that's very unfortunate for both of them. And it looks like Angel May is coming out of the pits with a bit of damage to the car. At least from the vantage point I have, but I could be wrong. As my little four-legged assistant shows up. Looks like Angel May's back up to speed, so that's good to see.
So Hackman now very definitely in a consolidated lead. And it's his race to lose at this point.
Quite so, and it looks like Schlapinski is actually closing in on Amaral, so there could be more further fights coming in, and I suppose in some way that's fortunate for Jason because he is now up into 3rd and will only lose some 40 points to Jakes as it stands right now.
Yeah, it's the next event, the California 500, which is going to tell us which direction the championship is swinging into. Yeah, Jakes has definitely thrown the towel because his last lap was quite slow. He's conserving the engine. He's happy to get 2nd. He lets Adam Hackman get the honors. And he wants to score the points. That's the important thing.
Quite.
He's the clever thinking driver.
Oh, and Ray Riddle is out.
Ah, not at this point.
Well, unfortunately he is.
I cannot see in the replay what happened.
Well, it looks like it happened quite a while ago, so...
And with the lead that Adam Hackman has, I think he will be lapping David Jakes very soon.
Why, it looks like we'd all parked it in the pits. For whatever reason. Although that smoke could be engine smoke, I suppose. Difficult to say for sure. But either way, that's read all out, and Daniel May in a few laps' time should be up into the top 10. But the leader with what will be 3 laps to go as he crossed the finish line now. So unless something very strange happens, this looks like Adam Hackman will take the win. Which I reckon he'll be very happy about.
Yeah, it's going to be a very happy Hoosier here. And I think it's also well deserved if he clinches it. Because he didn't put a single foot wrong in this race.
Quite. Oh dear. There we go. My apologies for the lost graphics for a moment. Let's see, on to what I believe is the final lap for Adam Hackman. Let's get the yellow flag, not the yellow, the white flag out there.
Yeah, please, not the yellow now.
Let's see, final turn for Hackman through 3 and 4. Onto the loud pedal he go, and he can coast from here because he is the winner of the Tony Bettenhausen 200 here at the Wisconsin State Fair Park, and I think he'll be very happy with that. And I suppose everything considered, David Jakes will be quite happy with second here.
Yeah, he stretches his lead in the championship. Obviously, this is not a victory, but it's a victory in terms of the championship.
Because he pulls another few points on Jason White, who finishes third. Fourth for Francisco Amaral, newcomer, and I reckon he will be quite happy with fourth. Fifth for Cesare Shlapinski, solid finish there. Brian Yannick with a late race kerfuffle in the sixth. Brun Chacon finishes seventh. Luciano Roja finishes eighth in the end. David Saber scores 9th place points. Ray Riddle retired but still will be classified in 10th, I believe, with Daniel May finishing in 11th. So all in all, quite a interesting race, in my view.
Yes, it was. Short track racing is always a great thing. Hard for the drivers, but always a spectacle to watch.
Definitely so. Well, while we wait for a few post-race interviews, we will take a few minutes. We're watching some important messages, and when we get back,
although, wait a moment, did we solve the trivia question?
No, we didn't. We can do that first, and then if we have no interviews, we'll bring in some important messages. But for now, let's have a look at that, actually. So, the question for you all this evening were, in 1992, with Milwaukee in danger of losing its kart IndyCar race, Which team owner was given a long-term contract to organize all racing activity at the facility? Was it A, Roger Penske? Was it B, Pat Patrick? Or was it C, Carl Haas? Do you have any final thoughts on this, Alberto?
I was saying either Patrick or Haas, but I don't know. Let's go with Patrick, just for the heck of it.
Well, the correct answer is C, Carl Haas. So you were on the right track, Alberto, and congratulations to Berlin, who answered the trivia question correctly.
Okay. So, in any case, always pleased to broadcast with you, but I have to say goodbye now because I have some housekeeping to do.
That's understandable.
So,
thank you very much for joining me. Really enjoyable to broadcast with you once again, Alberto.
Yeah, thank you too, and thank you to all the drivers and all the viewers. It was, as always, a very interesting race. So, see you on the next one, guys. Bye.
Take care.
User disconnected from your channel.
So, massive thank yous to Alberto for joining me for this one. Looks like we might have our race winner on his way to joining us, so
channel created.
Let me just create a different channel for us just in case. Unfortunately, Berlin, I am not as good at sorting out the noises for right and wrong answers, so you will have to bear with my congratulations only. Let's see, we have Adam Hackman on his way here, but while we wait for him, we will take a quick few moments to have a few messages from our broadcasting partners, and when we're back, we'll hopefully have some interviews coming our way, but until then, hang tight.
I've had this car for about 3 years and 130,000 miles, and I look after it. Like using STP oil treatment. A lot of drivers I know add STP to their engines. It gives your car that extra care I like having, whether I'm driving 12 hours a day or just around the block. You free? Yeah, get in. I never get a break, but my car sure does with STP oil treatment.
If you're a one-brand beer drinker like myself, nobody's going to talk you into switching over to Molson Diamond just because a lot of the other guys are doing it. Not even when they tell you it's got a smoother taste than your brand. There's only one thing that's going to make you change your mind, and you know it. You got to judge Diamond for yourself. Like I did. So go ahead. You be the judge. After all, the other guys can't always be wrong.
User joined your channel.
So many people have bought the Blue Lotto Canada surprise package for the June 9th draw, there are hardly any left. So if you can't get the blue, get the new. The new Lotto Canada Games pouch for the August 4th draw is now on sale wherever Lotto Canada tickets are sold. So remember, if you can't find the blue, get the new. The new Lotto Canada surprise package, now on sale.
I don't think there is a word in French for flirting, and no place in my life for it. Flirting is a game, and I don't play games. If I'm interested in a man, I let him know it. Directness can be so satisfying.
User joined your channel.
Number 5 perfume, spray perfume and spray cologne. Chanel. It's one of the pleasures of being a woman.
Have you ever wondered where major industries do their shopping? when the automotive industry shops for car thermostats, when the aircraft industry shops for lightweight special metals, when the leisure time industry shops for true temper golf shafts and garden tools, when a number of industries shop for gases and chemicals, they're all drawn to one source. The source? Allegheny Ludlam Industries, the supermarket.
There are lots of batteries out there making all kinds of claims, performing all kinds of demonstrations. We simply say this: the J.C. Penney battery is so powerful, it's warranted for as long as you own your car. If it ever fails to accept and hold a charge, return it with proof of purchase. We'll replace it free. And it never needs water, ever. It's the last battery your car will ever need.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans present An American Tragedy. Nothing is so useful as the car, but many Americans misuse it. Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans are working to hold the cost of health care down. So stay fit. Walk when you don't need to drive. Together, we can keep the cost of health care from being driven even higher.
Professional tennis player Joanne Russell. You know what she finds stimulating? Stamp collecting.
After my dad got me started, I got really excited about U.S. commemoratives. There are so many colorful subjects I can collect. They're fun, they're history, they're America. I buy new stamps at the post office all the time. Half the fun is keeping my collection up to date.
Start your collection with the 1978 mint set of commemoratives at your post office now.
And we are back here at the post-race interviews for the Tony Bettenhausen 200, and with me in the booth I have Jason White and Adam Hackman, both the Penske drivers, and I suppose both quite happy with the results they got. Or what would you say, Jason?
Oh, I'm happy to finish third on a track that I don't particularly feel comfortable on, but I think that pales in comparison to how my teammate must be feeling right now.
Pretty good.
Pretty good, you say, after winning the race by, I believe, some 25 seconds.
Yes, I think with David's pit stop, that's about where it ended up. So.
Well, looking at the race as a whole, you guys started, I believe, first and second row, but quite early on I noticed both of you were down in the low tens positions. Do you think that was simply a strategy thing with tires and how you had the engines set up, or gearing, I should say, or was it more a bit of sleep at the wheel?
Truthfully, probably more the latter, at least in my case. I think, I don't want to speak for Jason here, but I think historically, that's been one of the things we, maybe that and our in and out laps for pit stops have historically probably not been up to par with some of our better members. So that wasn't all unusual. So.
Yeah, I think early on we both kind of dropped back and waited for the race to come to us. It was I could tell early on who was having tire issues and who wasn't, and the race kind of came I think the race kind of came into our hands later on. I mean, Jake's was his normal self, just very quick, and pit strategy was fantastic. But in the end, Adam had the measure on him today, and I couldn't be happier. It's a great win for him. I think this is your first win, correct?
It is.
Excellent.
Finally have the monkey off my back.
Yeah. Well, it was a great win, and on a very difficult circuit.
Oh dear, I had missed that. Big congratulations on your first win, Adam. I thought you had one earlier this season.
Lots of seconds and near misses. So I also have to say, well, Indianapolis would be my first choice, being my home track and only 11 minutes away. If I could pick a track to have my first win at, Milwaukee would probably be my second pick. When I, came back into sim racing after a long sabbatical, we were doing the Kart 88 season, and I remember my first online session doing preseason testing there with Bob Wilson, and that was just a very, very special experience. And to have my first win come here, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a very, very special feeling in more ways than one.
Absolutely.
And also, sort of out of interest, Adam, obviously, when the yellow came, Yates decided to jump for the pit lane. You decided to stay out and play the top speed game. How was that? How did you see that playing out? Did you expect to be able to get him in the end, or
No.
how did it
when I saw that, and if I remember right, it came out fairly late, so it was a pretty quick dive by David to go into the pits, and I was just, I really wasn't ready for a yellow, and I just did a quick, look at the lap count, and I didn't think I had a way to make it from there. But then when I saw him duck in and we were running laps under yellow, I was like, here we go again, where I'm going to get beat again on strategy. And luckily it worked out this time. So again, couldn't be happier. Good Penske day.
Yeah, this makes up for the disappointment of Texas World for sure.
Absolutely.
I had a second place on the plate and let it slip away, but too bad for August too to be the first car out of the race. After going from the absolute high to the absolute low. That's too bad. I didn't want to see that.
Well, unfortunately, that's part of racing.
Mm-hmm.
You can be, as you say, on top one day, and the next day it's really down the trenches.
And I think that really speaks to the the quality of this mod and the difficulty of this track. I mean, it is a razor's edge with that right front tire temperature. I mean, that last stint trying to catch Jakes before I knew he was going to come into the pits. It's just, I had to just wind it down there for a couple laps because once that right front gets as hot, it can snap at a moment's notice.
And I believe we saw some of that during the race, so definitely a difficult track, and I suppose a quick look forward with the California 500 next time out at Ontario. How do you guys rate your chances there?
Hopefully good. It's a track I enjoy.
Yeah, it's an Indianapolis clone. It's I think the car that we have has a good package for that track. I believe we raced there earlier this year in a 200-mile format. So we've got, but of course the mod has changed a bunch of times since then. So it's not like we can just go back to that setup and use it. It's probably going to be something along the lines of our Pocono setup with changes. But in any case, it'll be an interesting round, and definitely a championship, one with championship implications there because of how many points are paid out.
Quite so. We were discussing that during this race too. That might have been the main looking point for, especially you, Jason, after the opening laps where the gap opened up. But again, congratulations on a double podium for you Penske boys, and massive congratulations, Adam, on your first win here at ISO.
Thank you.
So with that, I think we'll have a quick look at what's coming up here at ISO, and then we will finish off the broadcast. So next time we'll be on the air will be for the 5th Grande Premio de Portugal. I probably butchered that pronunciation quite a bit. The 5th Grand Prix of Portugal for our 1986 F1 Championship, round 14 out of 16 for that. Sunday, October 3rd, and based on what I've heard, the championship is very close still, so you don't want to miss that event. That track always throws up some great racing and some interesting incidents, so definitely one to watch. And weekend after that, on October 10th, we have the California 500, the third of our Triple Crown events. And if Indianapolis and Pocono is anything to go by, that is going to be a fantastic event as well. But with that, it is thank you from me, and thank you to Alberto for joining us. Thank you to all our participants and racers for putting on a great show tonight. And thank you to Jason and Adam for joining us for the post-race interviews. Always good talking to you both. And yeah, until next weekend, take care, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you'll tune in next weekend for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Good night and take care.
Night, everyone.